happy Monday morning to you girls. Hopefully you guys had a good weekend and you guys are ready to get back into school this morning. We have lesson 6 in our language arts. We are going to start with a little bit of a review first off this morning. So I have 2 sentences written up here on the board, and the first thing I want you guys to do is I want you to go ahead and you can pause the video, and then I want you to go through and I want you to write down on a piece of paper all the words that are adjectives in this sentence and in that sense, right? So go ahead and pause the video and go ahead and do that. All right, hopefully you guys had 4 in your first sentence and 3 in your last sentence, because that old is describing the chair, and then the garage are describing what kind of sale. And then how many people? There was 5 people. And whose card? It was Linda's. And what kind of card was it? It was a birthday card, all right? Very good. Now, the next thing we're going to do for our review is I have 2 sentences written up here on the board again, and I want you guys to go through and put parentheses around any of your prepositional phrases in these 2 sentences, all right? Remember, our prepositional phrase has to begin with a preposition, and it needs to be a part of a phrase, all right? So you can go ahead and pause my video, and you can just write these sentences out on a piece of paper and then go through and put parentheses around each prepositional phrase. All right, after you're done, we should have had 2 prepositional phrases for each phrase, or for each sentence, sorry. The men at sea, at's our preposition, so at sea would be our prepositional phrase that would go together. Caught some fish for would be our preposition, for, and then our phrase would be for their supper. All right, and for the next one, the bush near would be our preposition. Near the gate would be our prepositional phrase. And then in would also be our preposition. And in a few days would be our prepositional phrase, all right? Hopefully you guys got all those right. And we are going to jump into our new part, all right? So today, our new part, we are learning about feet in poetry. Feet in poetry. I don't think that's what they mean. Let's see if we can read and find out what they mean when they say feet in poetry, all right? To start off with our lesson, we have 2 vocabulary words that I want you to read to your mother or your brother or your sister or your father. The first one is meter, which is a rhythm pattern repeated throughout a poem. And the second one is a poetic foot, which is one marking pattern in poetry, all right? So there we're starting to get up what a foot is. One marking pattern in poetry. Let's read down through our lesson, and we're going to find out what the feet are in poetry. When a rhythm pattern is repeated throughout a poem, it is called a meter. Poems that follow a rhythm pattern can be measured by poetic feet. There's our feet. An iambic poetic foot is one unaccented and one accented syllable, all right? So this makes up one poetic foot. Right here we have an unaccented and an accented syllable. The following line has 4 iambic feet. I'm going to skip over that first sentence they have in here, and I'm going to jump to the next sentence. It says, sometimes a line has a partial foot in it. A partial foot is still counted as one poetic foot. The following line has 5 feet, all right? So notice, if we go ahead and we mark each syllable with iambic meter, with our unaccented and accented, will you, dear friend, come home tomorrow? All right, and now we know that each unaccented and accented syllable make a foot. So now we can go through just like they did with a line, and we can divide our sentence into poetic feet. So we have 1, 2, 3, and then right there. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 poetic feet. Because remember, even a partial foot is counted as one poetic foot. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 poetic feet in that first one, all right? That is what it means when it says poetic feet in poetry. If we just look over our definitions and our vocabulary words, a poetic foot is one marking pattern in poetry, and a meter is a rhythm pattern repeated throughout a poem. So, all poems will have a rhythm pattern that you can mark out with our unaccented and accented syllables, and then each line can be divided into poetic feet, all right? And each foot consists of one unaccented and one accented syllable, all right? So, don't go sticking your actual feet in a poem. That is what they mean when they're talking about feet in poetry. All right, we have a new section of spelling words in lesson 6. We have words. Let me see if I can find my... Our section 2 in spelling words is a list of words associated with foods and cooking. Sounds yummy. All right, so we have breakfast, casserole, chocolate, cinnamon, coffee, dessert, favorite, grapefruit, groceries, hamburger, lemonade, macaroni, mixed, onion, peanuts, prepare, product, spinach, stew, and tomato. All right, so go ahead and do your new part and your We Remember for today's lesson, and I hope you guys have a great Monday. See you guys.